All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Sorry for being a little late today. 9:05 Eastern Standard Time. First thing I do when I wake up in the morning is definitely check Bloomberg, check Twitter, the futures. Kind of the same thing every day. I was tweeting out some news. Powell was talking. I kind of ran out of time. I went to go take a shower, and I'm like, oh boy, it's 9:05. My alarm went off. Went straight here. So good morning, everybody. It is June 17th, 2022. It is a Friday. Just a reminder, Monday, the markets are closed. No markets today, on Monday, excuse me. So enjoy your long weekend. It's the Juneteenth holiday. Sunday is Father's Day. If you are a father, happy Father's Day to you. Call your parents, call your father, call your grandfather, your uncle, cousins, whoever is a father. Great people in the world that handle their business, take care of their kids. They deserve some recognition. So happy Father's Day to all the great guys out there doing the stuff that you are asked to do as a man, of course. Dow futures up 81 points, Nasdaq up 56, S&P up 0.37%, Russell 2000 up 0.633% this morning at 1662. Dow futures are above 30,000 again, 3685. We were a little higher on S&P futures this morning. Powell started talking, usual. Let's see if we get above 37.16. I expect us to have a relief rally. Today is OPEX day. What am I looking for? I'm looking to see if we get to 3,900 on S&P. That's a heck of a move to the upside. I won't expect that today, but at least at 3,800 is my expectation this morning. I know that's a big, tall order, but again, we had such a tons of selling yesterday. I expect those individuals to at least cover the shorts. Of course, I could be wrong. We could definitely fall a little more. There's a chart I want to show you guys as well regarding S&P. A lot of people ask me, bottom, when are you starting to buy? Again, I bought some yesterday, SPY-G, but I do that every week. Let's keep it moving. 10-year yields are down 3.211%. Good sign, but again, now we're getting the flip where Treasury yields are now safety. It's not even about showing risk. It's now about safety. So if you have been trading or watching investing or the market for the probably past 20 some odd years, 30 years, let's just say, and you look at bonds. Bonds are usually a sign of safety when you're buying bonds. When bond yields go down, that usually shows risk off. Lately, because of an inflationary period, now we use the 10-year yield as kind of an inflation proxy. It's kind of our survey for inflation. Yields go up, that shows inflation is getting worse. It shows that people are not buying treasuries because they expect rates to go higher. Now we're getting a little bit of a sell-off from the top of 3.483. Now we're at 3.2%. And again, the bond market has been extremely important to watch. I know it's so boring to talk about fixed income, but guys, it makes a difference. So again, make sure to keep watching the 2-year and the 10-year. The good news is those bond yields have spreaded. Those bond yield curves have widened. So again, when we get an inversion, that's not a good sign. When we get a little bit of widen, at least a little better. Taking a look at the dollar is bidding today. That's what's probably giving some resistance to equities here on the future side. We are tapping the 100-day moving average on the 1-hour chart on the dollar, 104.51. We hit a high of 105.78, 105 being a huge level for the dollar. Let's see if we can fall back a little bit, maybe get equities a little bit of a boost. Crude oil is down 1.41%. I do expect crude oil to keep going down. 105 to 100 is my target short term in terms of crude oil. XLE, all these energy companies were overextended. I posted an XLE unusual options activity. There was tons. It was a 77 puts. I did not fill them personally, but they did hit. So again, I do expect XLE to come back from oversold conditions, probably give us an opportunity to possibly maybe add some to the portfolio, if anything. Gasoline futures down 3.27%, $3.82. That's great. Gold futures flat, $18.51 an ounce. Silver futures down 0.34, $21.81 an ounce. Bitcoin holding that 20,000 level. Now that's super key because we have not broken that 2017 high. And I want to see exactly what happens when they do. I believe if they do, we may get some massive a waterfall down, probably another $1,000 in terms of Bitcoin for all those who are selling and probably who hit stops, who are trading it with leverage. That's more likely going to happen. Again, I still have 19.5 as the target to look at Bitcoin and see if we get some volatility. Ethereum down 2%, 1,070. I'm waiting for 900 personally. Let's take a look at the VIX. VIX is down about 1% this morning at 32.65. Okay, let's take a look at S&P futures. Again, 36.64, kind of holding support. That's that 161.8 fib. I expect that to hold. Again, a lot of Powell saying here, let's see what happens when he's done. Again, I do expect at least to get back to 38.05. So again, I didn't signal anything yesterday, or the team didn't signal anything yesterday in terms of buying the dip or anything like that. But again, we just want to see price action. Let's take a look at the S&P quickly. Here's the Bloomberg, and I went ahead and did about a 20-year chart. And the 20-year chart is going to show us the trend. So again, pretty simple stuff. I did from 2007 peak, from the financial crisis, all the way to the peak of the most recent high, around 48.14, let's call it. And then I went ahead and put a trend line right at the 2010 highs, and kind of serves us as a midpoint or so, kind of on the channel. So we can see that we broke the midpoint of the channel. It's not exactly perfect, kind of gives us an illustration. But the key here, the 50-day moving average on this chart on about a 20-year time frame is right around 34.56. 3,500 is the level I'm going to look for. The only thing where I think there's risk here is valuations. And that's usually the next shoe to drop. So again, we've had bad market breadth. Again, we know decliners versus advancers, declining volume 90%. I believe that was 2 days ago. We had a big move yesterday. I believe there was another 90% vol day in terms of the NYSE, in terms of volume. Again, you're starting to get at least some capitulation where, okay, just throw everything out. Get me out. 3,500 is a target I'm looking for to start shopping. Why am I using 3,500? That gets us to around a 15 times, 14 times multiple. Now, again, if you think that's still too expensive, then around 12, maybe, depending on earnings revisions, that'll get you around 3,200, 3,000 or so. 3,000, I think, would probably be the big support level. Probably the bottom of the bottom. If you guys remember in COVID, I said 2,300 was the low that we had from 2018. That was where I bought some. We got to 2,100. So it's not like, you can't go a little more. But 3,500 is going to be my target to buy some stocks. Yes, I think it's right now when you have so much pessimism in the market, everything's basically on sale. I definitely want to take advantage by start taking a look at companies. Again, am I going to add a little more risk? Sure. Again, how far more can we go down? That's really the risk you take. And remember, risk cannot be destroyed, nor they cannot be destroyed, ever. Risk is just moved from one party to another. That's just really all it is. So by buying stocks at 3,500, I'll be buying from people who want to get the hell out. Will I be looked at the weirdo? Possibly. People said the same thing in 2020. Again, you can call it luck, you can call it whatever you want, but again, 3,500 is a pretty good target for what I'm looking for. Let's see exactly the PE ratio for the S&P currently. Now, again, that's not going to tell us much because we need to see if we're going to get earnings revisions to the downside. And we've already seen that from a couple, Adobe, Microsoft with Forex headwinds, you name it. Right now, we're trading at around an 18 times multiple. Trading 36.66, let's just say, if we go ahead and keep everything constant, if we get to 3,500, again, that'll get us to around 16.15, which median time, long-term median, is around 14.89, and the mean, meaning the average, is right around 16. So again, a tad more. Again, if we do get some earnings revisions, things may change, obviously, but we'll go ahead and play it by ear as we go. Let's answer some questions. How come all of oil companies were so down yesterday, even though crude was green? Oversold. Again, you get a lot of traders and pension funds who are up on energy companies this year, taking some profit. That's basically it. You get some profit taking, you start getting to some overbought conditions. That's just usually the case. Do I think oil companies are good here? Absolutely. Again, they're returning capital to shareholders. They're focused on profitability. They had a tough 3 years. Now they're really going to focus on the shareholder. I say you hold them. Good morning, Carlos. Is Apple a buy right now? It is not. The only thing about Apple that I'm looking for, and I think this would be the scorched earth scenario, is around 97. There's a gap to fill there at right there, right around what? Oh, actually, that's the wrong one. Let me get you the right one. There's a gap to fill, I believe, at 97. Was there a gap to fill at 97? I know I saw that. Let me go to the Max Weekly. All right, so that gap was filled. I believe there was a gap filled there, but that's not the case. 97 being pretty much the worst case scenario. Where I want to buy, obviously, is right at 120. To me, that's the big support that I'm going to look for. So no, again, I still hold my Apple position, but I'm going to look for 120 to start adding some more. And good morning. How come banks didn't go up since rates were up this whole time? That is a really good question. They have been beaten down. Now keep in mind, if you have recession fears, the consumer's in focus. Credit, again, consumer credit has been going up in order for people to get offset inflation. That adds credit risk. But good news, the bank's balance sheets are strong. And again, you can have a strong company, a great company, but if no one wants to buy it or thinks forward thinking, thinking that the market's going to continue higher or it's going to appreciate, no one's going to buy it. And I think the banks are undervalued at this point. But again, we need to see those earnings revisions. The bond market is not going to be enough. Citibank just reported a couple of days ago really good trading numbers in terms of fixed income. This is their commissions and fees and their trading desk. So again, the fixed income side with this volatility, the banks are making money. So again, I do like the banks. I own Goldman Sachs and I own JPM. But again, the credit risk. So again, like a Bank of America, a Wells Fargo, Capital One, I would want to own here because they lean more towards the, let's call it, not subprime, but less than prime borrowers. And if you have more inflationary pressure, you have more constriction of liquidity or not enough capital running around, that's going to be a problem. Do I think it's more of a credit risk like 2008? No, but again, delinquencies and such, sure. So like Synchrony Financial, Capital One, Discover, I'm not a big fan of. I like the big center banks with some investing exposure. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JPM would probably be my top three. If you kind of want to stay away from global banking, you're going to stick with Bank of America. But again, I do like the banks. Again, they have capital reserves. They have great balance sheets. They return capital to investors. I think banks are a winner, and I definitely want to take a look at adding some more. And you're welcome, Jacob. SPXL or SOXL? Oh, let's see. I know this is a triple leverage ETF. That's a 3X, which is SPXL. And the other one, if SOXL, let's see. The semiconductor, wow. Okay, so you have it between both semiconductors and S&P. I think the S&P would be better longer term. Again, if you want to hold it for over a year. The semiconductor index is going to be a lot more volatile, but I like semiconductors long term as well. I would say, depending on your risk appetite, if you just want to go ahead and buy semiconductors and not ride the roller coaster, NVIDIA, AMD, Qualcomm are my top three. If you're looking for more of a value play, Micron is trading at a very low multiple. It's extremely cheap. So again, that would probably be my fourth. But again, NVIDIA, AMD, Qualcomm are my top three. I think Qualcomm is an amazing company, pays return, capital return, dividends, buyback shares, cash, you name it. Cell phones, they do it. 5G, and who knows, maybe in the future we get some 6G. So I wouldn't want to go SPXL or SOXL. I think you'd want to go SPY-G. Again, that's more growth. They also have semiconductors. Or you could just buy the SMH, which is the ETF for semiconductors as well. Let's go ahead and take a look here. SMH. 187.22 would be a nice place to buy. That's a pretty good support level. So again, sub 200, we'll see if we get there. We're getting a little bounce in the S&P. And in regards to the S&P, guys, I'm going to go and bring up again SPX. And why do I care about SPX? Again, because this is the spot index. Right here is where I expect us to go, around 37.90 on the S&P to fill that gap. I don't think we're going to get up to here today, so don't expect that. But again, end of the week, holiday season coming, I think we get that push 37.91. For those playing at home who wants to play SPY, let's take a look at it. I think if we get a break of 370, I would start taking a look at some calls. If we take a look at Qs, a break of about 275, I'll take a look at calls as well. Now again, we also have downside risk. Let's see what the downside risks are. What will be the target? Well, we've broken a lot of support levels, so we need to break above the weekly here. How about this, 350? 350 on the weekly, that'd be my buy target for the S&P. So why not use that as a good level of target? Could be a complete magnet to get there. But again, do I think the market mechanics have changed? The story, the narrative, the inflation, you name it, all the bad news. Has that changed? No, not at all. I said that on Twitter the other day. Don't let this Fed rate hike change anything because Powell can't drill for oil. Powell can't save Ukraine and Russia, the war over there. And Powell can't fix supply chains. All he's going to do here is demand destruction by making sure people don't spend. And now, again, that's a very tough water to tread because if you go too hard, too fast, you're going to get a recession, which we talked was the poison pill. But if you go light enough, will inflation even tame? So again, do you go half-ass or do you go full? Do you go ahead and kill the cancer with chemotherapy? Or do you start looking at going slow, working on rest, working on nutrition, or what other therapy there is? Again, I'm not a doctor, I wouldn't know. But again, that's kind of the market mechanics. Do I expect us to bounce? Why do I expect us to bounce? Again, it's going to be a short-term rally. That's it. Don't expect much in terms of, oh, continuation. Could we get it? Yes. But again, look at oversold conditions on SPY on the daily. We're hovering around oversold condition on the RSI. And I don't really completely depend on the RSI. This is the relative strength indicator. But again, if the flashing lights are on, the risk reward is definitely in favor of calls. And again, a lot of people may say, oh, all you do is calls, all you do is go long. But again, in a bear market, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for quick moves. I'm not a bear trader. I'm not a bull trader. I'm a volume trader. I'm a volatility trader. Volatility is what makes a market for us, especially we're short-term traders, futures, options, Forex, and so on. But with that being said, again, you can see it right there, 31 reading on SPY on the daily, 30 being oversold. Now, does that mean that it can't go past it? Of course not. Of course you can go way oversold. But look at every time that we've had, guys. We've bounced because of oversold bounces. And then when you have overbought, you get sold off. Is that perfect? No. But again, it gives you a guide. This is the GPS to get you home, even though you don't need it. It just gives you the ways to skip traffic. That's it. So I would just keep that in mind. Do not be surprised we get a bounce today. Let's answer some questions. Cheyenne is asking, good morning, Carlos. Would you consider buying more Tesla, Roku, Square, or Ford? If I had to pick between those four, I would say Tesla. Now, the problem with Tesla is the Twitter thing overhanging. That's the only thing I worry about. But again, it's nearing oversold. So let's take a look at the daily. You're not there yet. I think below 500, you could pull the trigger on Tesla. Is that possible? Of course. Maybe we get to 3,500 S&P. Maybe we get to 550 or 500, depending on the headlines. But 500 I can live with on Tesla to buy some. And in regards to Roku, I own Roku, of course, and Tesla. But again, in regards to Roku, again, it's a high beta growth name. And again, we know the drill with those names. They've been beaten down across the board. They're not at a point of oversold yet either. If you go to the weekly, again, I have $50 as a price target. So I mean, to buy some more. So you can imagine $28 more. But again, I'm willing to wait that long. That's okay. And in terms of Square is going to be a proxy of Bitcoin. If you think Bitcoin's going to bounce, Square is a good one. And Ford, if you think a recession is going to happen, I would stay away from Ford until we get a bottom of a terms of recession. Maybe we get, a GDP reading or something, because automobiles are the first to take a hit because that's consumer discretionary. Tesla is a little different, I would say, because the demand's a little higher, and Tesla is more than just a car company. I believe Tesla is a technology company that just makes cars. Ford is just a car company, in my opinion. So if you kind of want it like the Amazon effect, where, hey, I want a cloud company and I want and also an online store, the online marketplace, you're gonna get Amazon. If you're saying I just want a retailer, you're probably gonna lean to more Walmart and Target. Amazon is also a cloud provider, tech company, you name it. So again, it's all about diversification too. Tesla's a little more diversified in my opinion than a Ford. A lot more growth than a Ford. Granted, the stock price itself, the sticker price is cheaper, but I do like Ford in terms of yield. So if you're willing to hold on to Ford, they have the cash to pay the yield. So if you just want to get a little cash flow, Ford isn't a bad idea. If you're looking for growth, I'm assuming Cheyenne is looking for a way to kind of catch a bottom and flip that stock, probably Tesla will be your best bet. So again, there's always perspectives in the market. This is what makes the market. You have short term and you have long term. It really depends on who you are, what your risk tolerance is, and what you're trying to achieve. Again, a lot of the information I'm giving you guys, it could be like this, where I don't care. Again, I'm holding my stocks or my gold or my portfolio, and I don't care, but I just want to learn about the market. That's cool. Now, if again, you're one of the short-term traders, pretend like you and I are in the pits in Chicago yelling for bids, yelling for sales, that's kind of what we do, but we're behind the computer. So it's a different world. But again, this is what I expect today. I expect that bounce. If I'm wrong, that's not the first time. If I'm right, it's not the first time. You get used to it. But again, what we're doing as traders is finding, again, think of it as poker. We're just finding the odds. Again, and right now I'm looking at, if we're looking at cards, hey, probably looking at a Jack 10. Not the best hand in the hole, but again, you can still do some damage with a Jack 10, right? It's a good setup in a sense. Not the best setup, but again, I would hope to be a little higher. Maybe we can get to 370, but with Powell speaking, that's where you are. Make sure to like these videos, guys. If you do enjoy them, that thumbs up. Have a great rest of your morning. I will catch you guys for the after-market recap at 5 p.m. Enjoy your Friday afternoon. I will see you guys then. Cheers.